Rock. Sorry about that. Yeah, chocolate is the keyword. Rock 95, good morning, and a little extended duty today. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right. ZouZou?
ZouZou.
ZouZou. Damn it.
I'll take ZouZou. That's not so bad.
Slug me in the arm next time you see me.
You got it.
We'll be even. Okay, with Soraia, and I really love the sound of your band. Let's find out more. I know you guys are from Philadelphia area.
Yep. Born and raised.
Well, give me a little history. When did this thing start for you guys?
I started singing in like 2002, but the band really started full throttle around 11 and 12. We started touring in 16, and we've been signed with Little Steven since 16. Had some radio since 13, so we've been around a little while. We've toured a ton. Have pockets of fans in all different areas of the country and international, so it's good. I mean, I've loved music my whole life, and the band loves rock and roll, so that's what we do.
Well, tell me about the other players in the band, and how did you guys kind of meet up together?
Well, Travis and I have been together a long time. We've been co-writing since like 2011, and we met actually through like a musician's friend page. Like I was looking for a bass player because I had everybody else, and he wanted to play drums or whatever. But anyway, he joined, and he's been with me ever since because we write all the songs basically. And then my drummer Brianna Sig, which she would say I'm her singer, but whatever. She's been in it since 16. Our drummer hurt his hand, and we were playing a big festival, and she jumped in, and her background vocals are amazing, and we work together on all that pre-production stuff before we go in the studio. So she's a really important part of Soraia. And then Nick joined us only about just over a year ago, right before the pandemic hit. And we were already on tour for our last album, but we had lost our last guitarist. He was getting married and everything, and he didn't want to tour anymore. So Nick's only been with us for a year, but it's been a hell of a year to stay with us. So he's been doing great.
Well, you must like one another. To tour like that and be that close to one another probably drive yourself crazy, or you probably drive each other crazy once in a while too, but you must really like these people that you're performing with right now.
Oh yeah. You have each other's backs, and it's a band. So anytime you get in a lot of fights, whether over musical creative ideas or just over personal stuff, that you have with these people, it's cool though. I mean, like, you learn to let go of that stuff because you're together all the time. So it's really, we love each other. Like we do anything for each other. It's like a brother-sister thing. Yeah.
How much thought goes in, because independent band, boy, you've got to be a grassroots, you've got to be your own marketing person. There's a whole business side. It's not just play music, there's a whole business side you got to figure out, because if you want to make a living at this, it takes a whole nother skill set almost, and a lot of, almost like another job to balance between performing and actually creating a business and some money for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, we have really good help from the label, and they're one aspect of it, but you also have to book your tours, and we have some promoters that book bigger shows, but we have to fill in the shows in between. And we have a lot of bigger acts that help us out as well and put us on opening slots that help us build dates around them. So it's like, it takes an army. It's definitely like you meet these people, and a lot of the people we've met through fans who have seen us when we were very much like just sleeping on like people's floors and things like that. It's like, you'd be surprised how you build that team. But yeah, I mean, like we have to self-manage. We have to write our stuff. We have to produce it and then send it to the label for approval. And then we do book our own tours. Me and Brianna do most of that with the in-between shows and the hotels and stuff. And yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a full-time job, but there's all different aspects to it. Like even the video we did for Tight Lips, I really wanted to work with this director, and I met the producer through a show. So we went out to California, we did it, and it was another thing that I wanted to accomplish that I thought could show another aspect of the band to people who can't see us live after the pandemic is over. So we just keep following what feels right, and you have these network of people after you've done it a while. So it's kind of nice because they're all really good at what they do. We're lucky.
So we're talking with ZouZou from Soraia. Now, the new release, which is fantastic. We'll play that in just a second too, Tight Lips. And by the way, we added the song.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, we want to play that starting next week.
Thank you.
Yeah, we added that to the regular rotation. But okay,
yes,
tell me about Tight Lip, and we'll get to the video too, because the video is kind of creepy, actually. But
it's a thriller.
Like,
It was intentionally done that. So you want me to tell you about Tight Lips?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So we wrote that literally January. Me and Travis sat in my apartment here, and we wrote it in January, right before COVID hit. So January of 2020. Because we'd always kind of been behind writing after an album came out. We just kind of like rest up on that or tour, and then we'd be tired. But we're like, let's just keep writing. We're in a good vein. Let's just keep going. And we wrote that, and we wrote it over like 2 or 3 sessions because we had so many different ideas for it, from just music we were turned on by, and we shared it together, and just our different likes and dislikes, and we added so much, and there's so many influences in that song. But it's mostly about, I was reading a lot of like, oddly enough, I'm not a big Shakespeare fan, but I was reading some Shakespeare at the time, trying to get out of my comfort zone. And I was reading about Ophelia and how she drowned herself at the end of this thing. And I'm like, drown herself over a guy? Like, no, we're not doing that. Like, so I wanted to make her like this empowered, like angelic, like almost cartoony, like hero, you know? So that's how it started. And then the idea of like, you know, keeping your mouth shut when you want to open it, just in your own life, not necessarily socially, but just when you're saying yes to things you want to say no to, or you're saying okay to things you'd rather have something else. Like that was a pattern in my own life, and I wanted to kind of take that character and incorporate it into the song. So that's where the lyrics came from.
Yeah, it's very well done, and the video is kind of creepy too. I wonder where you found was that a basement or was that a garage or?
It was 2 areas. We actually shot it in Underground Arts in Philadelphia, the band scenes. And I shot my scenes in California in an old Chinese fortune cookie company that had been empty, like it had been abandoned. So, and it was during COVID. So we all had to like rapid test right before we shot. There was a very small team of people, but we got ridiculous equipment because nobody was using equipment at the time, like camera equipment. And we had really good cinematographer and a really good director. And we all just put our hearts into it. And it was like 2 days of just a lot of fun, and he really liked, the director liked my lyric, and he liked the idea of like making a thriller movie out of it. So he kind of was inspired by the movie You're Next, and also Green Room, which are both thriller genre, like the last few years. So even the cinematography kind of came from that, the ideas behind that. But I was excited to like make a mini movie. And the producer had the idea of making it like an interrogation. So it was like a lot of collaborative artistic minds working together. And yeah, it's super creepy. And I don't even know what it means at the end. So I can't even comment on that part. Like, I can give you my assumption.
Yeah. I was going to ask with them, okay. And it ends with the sledgehammer thing. We'll just leave it at that. Let people determine their own ending or conclusion to that. But well done. It is creepy and really cool. I thought the video was really, really neat and such a neat song. Well, tell me about, okay, what are some of you guys' influences on the sound of the band? Is it, I don't know, garage style a little bit, alternative kind of? I don't know. I hate to I'm not trying to pigeonhole you at all. I just
no, I appreciate it. I was thinking about, like, when you were saying that, I was thinking even Tight Lips is so many influences. Like, we were listening to Ghost at the time and Nirvana and like it's all like what we're listening to at the time, which is kind of weird because we have these like likes that are separate, but then we kind of Venn diagram together at certain points, all of us. We have such diverse like musical tastes. So singing wise, I can name a few people, but I think like musically, we definitely are raw, which makes us more garage, and we definitely like that like little bit of sloppy approach, like that live approach to things, not too polished. And we were really influenced by like the early 2000s garage rock, definitely, I'd say, like the White Stripes, the Dead Weather. They're gonna say different things than I'm gonna say, but Travis, he co-writes the music, and he's mostly like the Misfits and the Cramps and like Joan Jett and God, like punk, but also like hard rock, because we all love Soundgarden and like Nirvana and like this 90s kind of sound is really cool for us, you know.
Well, that guitar tone stuff that is using a lot of that is really cool. So I just love it. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely, I love listening to vinyl. I'm a big vinyl freak. Like, I'll go out every weekend and buy vinyl. I have no money, so it's all on vinyl. And like, I'll just sit and listen to records, and then I won't listen for a long time. But like, I love listening to records on good speakers and just hearing the music. And like lately, I've been listening to Chris Cornell's single "Patience" like over and over and over and over and over on my speakers. It sounds like just the music part is just phenomenal, aside from his delivery of the vocals. So.
Well, tell me about some of the cover songs you've done. I know you did a Prince song, and I think you just put together an Aerosmith song too, correct?
Yeah, that's the B-side of the new single, Tight Lipped, is Angel. And we did that. It's funny because there's a girl on my label, Jessie Wagner. And Jessie and I were talking over this summer. She was having an album come out in the fall, and this was during, quarantine 2020. And she was like, just asking advice and things because we'd already released a few albums through the label. And she's like, hey, we should duet sometime. And I was like, I don't really do that. Like, what is that even? Like, I was like, why don't I do that? So, and I thought about it, and I was like, yeah, sure. Like, what's a song you never did? Because she sang with everybody. Like, she's backups and like everybody. And she's like, the song Angel by Aerosmith is one. And I was like, I tried to sing that when I was a little kid on the boardwalk, and I destroyed it. And I was like, let's do that song. Like, I want to make up to myself by little ZouZou. So that's how that one came about. And yeah, people like that one a lot.
So what are the plans now? I know you released an album about a year ago with Dig Your Roots. Now you've got a couple of new songs. Is there a plan for an EP, or you just want to release a couple of singles now? What's the plan?
We're probably going to release one more single, but we actually are finishing up the album now. Like, I'm really writing hard and meeting with Travis, and Brianna is also writing. So we're trying to meet up and finish this record by like late May, early June, and get in to record it this summer. So we'll have another single come out before the album, and then probably the album early next year.
Well, cool. So what are the plans for touring? I know with COVID and the pandemic, things are starting to at least look better, even here in Minnesota. I don't know what it's like out east there. Are you going to start booking shows? Are you playing?
Yeah, we've been contacted by a few, like we're doing a festival, I think in October. We have shows scheduled for July. I don't know if they're still happening. They're still up in the air, but they're actually in like Cleveland, Ohio area with this band, Killer Queen. And they're all outside, so they may happen. But definitely the fall's already happening. We're going to Sweden at the end of October still. And then our first show back is actually June 18th in New York City. So they have like a socially distant, whole thing in place. They already started shows, so I'm excited about that one.
Well, fantastic. Hopefully, things lighten up here and we can get back to normal.
Yes, please.
And get bands like you through here in Minnesota. If you're ever close, God, we'd love to have you in. Definitely invite you in. So
we'll definitely come through Minnesota. It'd be great to meet you, Spence.
Well, let's play this song. We've been talking about it. We play, talking about the video. Let's do this. Where can people find out more? I know you're on Apple Music and all over on social media too. Yeah,
you can Soraia.com, Soraia, is our main site, and any handle is Soraia Rocks, all one word. Soraia Rocks. That's on Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. But we're on Spotify and all the streaming outlets.
And go to Apple Music and buy the songs.
Yes.
Buy the songs, buy the album. Right? Support. Let's do this. Thank you so much, ZouZou. Appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you, Spence. Thanks for having me.
Here's Soraia and Tight Lipped.